Can you talk about kind of Jari Evans in his role and joining Zach Street, the former player, working with you guys?
Yeah, anytime you get a great football player that did it for a long time at an extremely high level, it's an awesome opportunity for everyone in the room and even in the building. I'm sure the coaches feel the same way. Just be able to pick his brain, to understand some of the techniques he's using, to understand his mindset when he comes up to the ball and lines up and sees a certain defense. So it's just another resource for us to get more tools in our tool basket to be able to use on Sundays.
And then just to follow up, how is working with Trevor Penning through the first 3 days?
It's been great. Every day he's gotten better, which as a rookie, that's the goal. I mean, that's everyone's goal, really. But as a rookie, you can see substantial increase from day 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, and that's what we're seeing right now. So it's great. He's wanting to work, wanting to learn, so it's everything you're looking for.
How do you balance that, just kind of being happy for your teammate developing versus I assume as a competitor you want to play every snap as well? How do you kind of marry those two opposite?
Yeah. So first we're teammates, like you said, but I think it's two different mindsets. I'm always going to work as hard as I can on my craft. I'm going to focus on my deficiencies, what I need to work on, and then when I'm not in there getting the reps, I'm going to watch him and try to help him, because at the end of the day, if you have two really good left tackles, we're going to find a way to get people on the field. And obviously at times, we may have injuries, so we're going to need someone to step up. So whoever those people are, it's going to make our team better. And that really makes it easy when you have that kind of mindset about it of, hey, this is a team sport, we got 11 guys, but as we know, they're probably going to be 20, 25 different starters throughout the season. So getting every player to be the best player they can be before we play the Falcons, that's our goal.
What are some of the conversations you and Trevor have had, and maybe some advice you've given, even off the field as well?
Yeah, I think right now there's a lot of volume in the playbook, so a lot is coming at us now. We've had OTAs, we've had minicamp to install that stuff, so it's not brand new by any means. But now that we're playing full speed, we're playing NFL football. He's seeing how fast things happen, and I think he's understanding. You've got to have something down in your head. It's got to be down pat, because you have 2 seconds before you get up to the line and the ball snaps, and then when the ball snaps, it's all done. You've made your steps, your body position's where it is, your hands are where they are. And so you need to know that stuff down cold, so that when you go out and play, you're not thinking. You're just out there, you're reacting, and it's all muscle memory.
James, how much are you looking forward to Monday when you guys put the pads on and you guys can really get a good evaluation?
Absolutely, yeah, that's a great point. The evaluation for offensive line has to be in pads, and we know that. There's so many things that we can work on wearing jerseys in these shells. There's a lot of footwork, there's a lot of body position, that stuff shouldn't change. But then obviously when the pads come on, that's from contact to the end of the whistle. That's what we see. And that's where plays are made, that's where blocks are made, that's where the runs are sprung, that's where the quarterback has time to step up and make a throw on the field. So we know that's coming, and that's big for us, and obviously it's important. We're excited about it. It's real football for us.
James, have you talked to Trevor? Have you talked to Trevor when you do like one-on-one, considering the competition, the guys that we have against other teams like Davenport coming off the edge,
yep.
And you got Cam Jordan,
yeah.
You got Peyton Turner. That's something that could be surprising to him, considering that now you could be in pads and doing that drill.
Yeah, absolutely. That's anytime you got the depth that we have at defensive end, it's going to make you so much better. And when you go to that first preseason game, I guess those first joint practices, you're going to see different guys, and I think then you're going to understand, man, we got some good guys on this team, and that's going to make us better. And yeah, it's going to be tough out there some days, and some days they're going to get the better of you. But come out the other side, you're going to be way better off for it. So we're glad for it. We know we got to fight through, but we know it's going to put us in a great spot come week 1.
Do you anticipate doing all your practices, snaps, install, everything at left tackle and not moving around? And is that different than, I guess, Cam's in a while for you? Or?
Yeah. That's what they've told me to this point. Different from years previous where I've kind of moved around and filled in different spots. So that's what I'm focused on right now.
Have you done that in any of your previous stops where you were a one-position training camp guy?
It kind of, yeah. Some years I have, some years I haven't. It really depends. There's so many variables. There's injuries, there's scheduled off days, there's things like that. But there have been camps where I've been a one-position guy, and there's been other camps where I've been moving around.
And how much does that change for you? I mean, I'm sure you don't try to have a different weight if you know you might be wanting to be a tackle and a guard, but I mean, how much does focusing on just left tackle help you hone your craft?
It really helps. You know, there's a lot more specifics that I can get into that I can study myself on film. I've got a lot of film at left tackle and game film at left tackle, so I can go back and look at things from last season and say, okay, hey, I can be better at this, or I need to work on this, and so that really helps me just hone in and get a lot more specific with my technique.
It might be way too early for this question, but like, is there anything you see from Peyton Turner that stands out that he's doing well?
Yeah, he's really explosive. I think from the first day you notice him on film, just his get off alone, which is a huge attribute. I don't want to say that lightly. A get off is so important. It puts the offensive lineman in uncomfortable situations, and it makes our technique falter at times. So anytime someone can have a good get off, and then he's got good hands. He's always had good hands. He's a natural finesse with hands player. So you combine those two things, and that's pretty lethal. And I think, you know, once we get pads on, you'll see a more complete rush, run defense. You'll see all those things. But early on, yeah, he's looked great.
When you say it can make your technique falter, like what are some of the things that break down specifically?
Yeah, so if a defensive end gets a really good jump off the snap, that in the offensive lineman's mind, he's thinking, oh, I'm late. So instead of staying square, a good low body position, he might open up and turn. And once you turn, you're going to give the defender really a three-way go, upfield, inside, or right down the middle. So it puts us in a bad position. So that's something we have to focus on. We have to be off on the snap. We have to make sure we're off on the snap so that guy's never getting a good jump. And then we have to trust our technique and know that, you know, just because he's got one step on us doesn't mean we open or give things up.
James, what are your impressions of Doug Monroe?
He's awesome. He's awesome. Very experienced guy. He did it himself. He's great to work with. We've had a lot of great conversation in the offensive line room, not only about technique, but about why we use a certain technique, against what style of player, down and distance. There's a lot of details that we're getting into early. I think it's really going to help everybody further down the road. So it's going to be great as we go along, and you know, we get into more detailed coaching, I think, and more detailed into game planning later in the year, obviously. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun season.
You got time for one more.
James, anything stand out to you about Landon Young's game, or you know, what he's learned just in the last year?
Yeah, absolutely. First thing is when he played at the Eagles. You know, first of all, he played through a big injury, which the team needed him to do, which was great. 1, 2, rookie year to second year, you always see, well, I shouldn't say always, you want to see a big improvement, right? Because they're used to the speed of the game, they know the playbook. So now it's how well can they take coaching, how well can they improve the little parts about their technique that's going to make them the player they can be. He's definitely shown signs of that already, so it's really promising. I know he wants it. He wants to work. He wants to get better. He wants, I talked to him yesterday. He's telling me he's watching Ram in front of him, and obviously that's a huge luxury to have a guy that good, to be able to watch him and study him. So he wants it. He's in a great position. I know he's going to keep working. He's just going to get better and better.
The line, the whole group, how much time y'all spend in the film room or outside off the field?
Yeah, so I guess as an offensive line, like as a unit, we've got meetings, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 hours a day, something like that. Don't quote me on these numbers, these aren't exact. But 4 or 5 hours of meetings as a unit together. Then when we're done, you know, we usually try to watch a cut-up of something of the opponent all together, no coaches, just players talking about what we're thinking. And then you go home and you watch it on your own. And that changes from guy to guy, right? Certain people want to look at certain things. They study film. People study film a little bit differently, whether they're studying scheme or whether they're studying the person across with them. It changes if you're a starter and if you're a backup and you're playing different positions, so you've got to watch film differently. So that part varies a lot, and it's up in the air. But we've already talked about that with Coach Marone, and he's going to give us some advice so we can all have some similar ideas on how we want to watch film, things we need to look at to study.
That's what I was wondering. I think the coaches talked to you about outside of the practice facility, about looking at what example for each player.
Yeah, definitely. So Coach Marone's talked about that already, and that's going to be good for us. Just give us some guidelines, some ways to watch film that'll help us for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.